Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So this is just going to be a quick video. I'm going to show you in episode 6 I did a painting similar to this, and then I tried to remake it because I had a number of people asking me for one. So you can see, if you watched episode 6, if you haven't, go check it out. It's probably one of the better ones. Down here the water's kind of messed up from what I'd like it. It's got all these spots and stuff, but what we really want, I mean, it's kind of started right here. You can see it a little bit, but I just don't like it. So I'm going to, there's a couple ways you can work with paintings. If you screw something up, try to make it part of it, and that's kind of the number one way. But this is just going to be a simple fix. I'm just going to cover it back up with black gesso. Go into a little bit of why this happened. So when I was putting because I think we put Van Dyke Brown and sap green down here, and it was taking a while. So rather than get more paint and put on a thicker coat, which is what I should have done, instead I got paint thinner and literally thinned down the paint and put it all over here, and that worked to apply it. I almost said applicate it, but to apply it. But because the paint was thinner, it dried a lot quicker, so it didn't stay wet. And this whole technique is based on basically wet on top of wet. That's why we put the liquid white on there, so we can move the paint around, and it didn't really move around that well. So to fix it, we're just going to go with some black gesso. I've got that here, and you're supposed to do whatever you want, I guess. Normally I use a fan brush or a foam, like a sponge brush, but I couldn't find it, so I just have this Artist Loft. It's not an oil brush. I don't really know what it is, but I found it laying around, and I've used it before. You can tell it's stained black from the gesso. So we're just going to cover this up down here and redo it. So I'm going to bring it right up against the land there, and we're going to hopefully be able to cover that up with the next layer of Van Dyke Brown and sap green, because we're going to have to redo that layer down there to put the water on, or to put the white on to make it look like water. So we're going to get this black gesso right snug up against it and then cover it. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and let this sit for about a half hour. That's about how long it takes for the gesso to dry. And if I decide, I might off camera do another coat once it dries. There's a couple little spots in here that I can't tell if they're just brush strokes or if it actually hasn't covered. So, painter's discretion at that point. So, yeah, we'll let it dry for a half hour, and then we'll come back and fix it. Alright, so I think I said leave it for, half hour, 45 minutes, but it's actually been an entire day. So it's the next day, and as you can see, it's completely dry down here. If you got any question on whether or not, kind of what's the difference between liquid black and black gesso. A liquid black is an oil base. Now this has been done for, I'm really lazy. I should have done this a few months ago, but this has been done for months. Actually, that's not true. I was waiting for the paint down here to completely dry, because that yellow, or the white was still a little bit wet. So I wanted that to completely dry before I covered it with gesso. And so this is completely dry. So we can, basically what I'll do is just start over, and we're going to cover that with, I've got a little bit of sap green and Van Dyke Brown. So we're just going to mix these together. Alright, and then very important, although it would be easier to mix it with paint thinner and then go over it, learned the last time that's not a good idea. So we're going to take just a 1-inch brush and get a bunch of paint on it, and just start covering this whole thing down here with this brown and green mixture. And the only thing that's different about it now, the last time we just scrubbed it all on there and went up and it was fine. So now we actually have to be careful about trying not to get it on the land too much. So I'm going to take a little bit of the liquid white once we're done with this and put in those water lines again, so hopefully that'll help. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're going to go in with the 2-inch brush on some titanium white and just get some on the bristles there. And then, just like we did in episode 6, we're just going to touch and pull straight down. And a little more white. And go across. There. And that, I'm going to come up here just a couple. Again, it's harder right now because I've already put in the land and stuff. Well, I guess we did that. We did this after the land. What you should do, I guess, is put in the water and then go over with the little. I think this is, if I remember correctly, this is the sienna and white mixture for the highlights on the land there. So let's go ahead and clean off this knife, and then we're going to take a little bit of liquid white and try to put in some water lines there and clean that up a little bit. Alright, so we've got a clean knife. Just going to go into this little pile of liquid white we've got and try to drop in some water lines. Alright, and just like that, yeah, this water is much better than what we started with, so I'm going to call that, we'll call that one fixed. So yeah, thanks for watching.